body's getting old. I'm having trouble speaking. And my eyes can't make believe that they still see. I point to all of this, I'm walking away. I'm leaving no regrets, the end begins today. Because I see consequential life, it's killing me. It's killing me. Yeah, it's killing me. It's killing me.
Who the hell can wait till morning? Talk now at latenightsportsradio.com.
Yeah. Thank you. Far too kind. Yeah. Ready? Let's go. Can I get an encore?
87 Sports Fans live on Late Night Sports Radio. Brought to you by CG Imaging, cg-imaging.com. CG Imaging, virtually creating reality. And also by the Lockbox by Stephen Taylor, available for digital download and paperback orders on Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com. All right, before the break, I said I wanted to know your opinion on the whole Jameis Winston situation. I wrote a pretty long piece at 87sportsfans.com where I felt he should not be playing, so I would like you to weigh in.
I couldn't agree more. I would love for somebody to pick out a bigger fall from grace prior to going to the NFL, from being at the apex of college football, winning the Heisman, winning the national championship, and within 6 months of the season starting, completely tanking it all away. I mean, you have in a year and a half of college football right now, he's got a rape allegation, theft, the inappropriate comments he made that got him suspended, and now the autograph scandal. I don't remember a player that's just collapsed this far. I mean, you have a kid now that's talking about potentially dropping out of school so that Florida State doesn't have a leg to stand on as far as trying to discipline him. And this kid was potentially a number one draft pick in the NFL, and now this will be a good test to the NFL and all of the owners saying that they're serious about changing how people perceive the NFL, changing the look of the NFL, having more of a pull towards morals and people that have a high standing in society. If anyone drafts this guy, that throws all of that down the toilet. I'm sorry. To me, Jameis Winston is a kid who has just the biggest ego, thinks he's above the law, and has nobody in his corner trying to tell him that he's doing something wrong. It's obviously there's no one there. There's no one there telling him he's doing something wrong because he continuously does this stupid crap that gets him in trouble. And, I mean, look at that franchise. You have Florida State. They were looking at a potential dynasty of at least another national championship this year. And now with all of this garbage, if they lose Winston, they're not even going to make it to the postseason, to the inaugural playoff. I could see them losing at least 2 or 3 games the rest of the season if they don't have Winston. So to me, I agree. I think he should not be playing. I think he should be expelled from Florida State. Something needs to happen for this kid. And I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve a second chance sometime in the future if he learns from his mistakes. But something drastic needs to happen in his life for him to understand that there are consequences for his actions. Because it still seems like he thinks he is 100% above the law.
No, you think about the sexual assault allegations. I guess we have to say allegations right now, even though it's pretty clear something happened. Because the university let him know that he's facing a disciplinary hearing. with those sexual assault allegations, then you have him saying the statement that he yelled. Do you know what phrase he yelled, right?
Yeah, it was ridiculous. I mean, that proves right there that everyone is saying he's such a smart kid. No. With the record he has and the allegations out there, you don't say that if you're smart.
No, you really don't, because it just paints the picture that you have no respect for females, whether it's true or not. And I get it; it's an internet meme, and everyone is, he just has a bad sense of humor. No, he's got a bad sense of humor and poor taste. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're all different people when nobody's looking. You know what I mean? We all make jokes that no one else would want to make or anything like that, and things you wouldn't say in the middle of a public building in the middle of a college campus.
Yeah.
But that being said, it's a lot of bad, really bad, horrific decisions by him, and I just. If the university is thinking about disciplining him, then why is he on the field?
Exactly.
It's just that simple. If he stands any risk of not playing, why is he even on the field? Because if he plays and beats Syracuse, which again, bias alert, we live an hour and a half away from Syracuse. I'm a Syracuse football fan. You are not, but. If he plays and beats Syracuse, well, guess what? Maybe he shouldn't have even been eligible at all, because he's there soaking up the fame and smiling and acting like he doesn't have a care in the world, when really there's a group of individuals that are starting to follow the breadcrumbs and starting to think that maybe he just did sexually assault that young lady. And now we know where Florida State and the law enforcement community in Tallahassee, where their motivation lies.
Oh, it's all about the money. It's absolutely all about, and that's the sad thing about college football. And there's actually a great documentary, and I cannot think of the name of it right now, on Netflix about college football and how the athletes are not getting compensated for playing and whatnot. I think the NCAA and college sports is horribly fractured. There are, it is in just complete chaos. And I don't know what the answer is. I really don't, because you're going to you have all of these incidents that are going on. You have players that are stealing, that are signing illegal autographs. They're doing all these things. And now, mind you, I'm not saying this to stand up for Jameis Winston at all, because you know you're not supposed to do this stuff, and you know it's going to get you in trouble. And with his track record, just don't do it. But it's going to come to a head soon, to where these companies, I'm not even going to call them colleges, I'm going to call them companies, because that's what they are making millions and millions and millions of dollars. And some of these kids are getting career-ending injuries, and they're losing their scholarships because, it's horrendous. And this is just another example of what happens in this kind of environment. You get a player like him, you get a kid like him that's getting all this notoriety, and they're getting all this stuff thrown at them. It's going to be tough. Now, you have Jimbo Fisher saying, they sign autographs all the time when they're leaving the field. It's just tough for them to stop. To me, I don't believe that, because it might have been 20 years ago when kids coming into college didn't really know what the NCAA regulations are. But nowadays, everyone knows what the NCAA I think my mom does, and she doesn't know how to program her phone, for God's sakes. So, everyone knows these things now. And personally, I think you need to follow the rules, but I think there needs to be some major changes in college sports. There has to be. It's just going to get worse and worse and worse.
Oh, I completely agree. I've said this all along, and you can't pay the players like the NFL. You can't have that kind of model. You know what I mean? But if there's a local car dealer that wants to use them in a commercial and is willing to compensate them to use their name and their likeness, then by all means, let them do it. If somebody wants to pay them for their autograph, for their name, then just let them do it. Like, what's the big deal? You're just
And if you don't want them to have that money, I mean, is it really that difficult to start a trust? Something that you put that money in until they get out of college, then they have access to it. So they're not driving around in fancy cars and spending all this money while they're in college. They earn it in college, and then they get it when they actually leave the university. I mean, maybe even give them like a stipend every month or something. Just give them a little bit, and that teaches them also how to save. I don't know. I think there can be a lot of lessons taught to these kids that we're just not even thinking of right now.
Well, they are getting an education. You know what I mean? I mean, they're not going there for free, and you know what I mean. They're not.
But that's the
thing.
Getting
anything. But if they can make some extra money using their name or their jersey number or whatever, then by all means let them have it, because you know what, that jersey number that you're selling in your college bookstore doesn't mean anything without that player playing it.
Yeah. But I mean, you look at it though. How realistic is the whole they're getting an education thing? I mean, these kids are practicing. I mean, they're getting up at 5 a.m, working out for 3 to 4 hours in the gym, going to a class, then going to a practice, going to a film session, going to another couple classes, doing a nightly film session, getting back at like 10 at night to do homework, and then getting up at 5 a.m. to do it all over again. I mean, it's not realistic to say that they're getting an education. It really isn't.
Regardless of what they're learning, they're getting a piece of paper that if they don't play football, you know what I mean? They'll be able.
But I mean, for most of these kids, it's been proven that their tests, they're either taking Mickey Mouse courses or their tests are being done for them. So they're really not learning anything. They might get a degree at the end of their time, but most of them, the degree really is just a hollow piece of paper.
Well,
I think there should be there's got to be a better way. There just has to be a better way.
I don't think it's most. I think there's some. I mean, there's the infamous story about Charles Barkley taking music appreciation. You know, and his class was, a teacher put on a record, and he said, "Yeah, I can appreciate that." You know,
that sounds like Barkley.
And he told that story, so it's just funny. Anyway, all right, moving on. NBA preseason is here.
Thank God.
Mm-hmm. And everything is zen, apparently, according to ESPN.
Except in Oklahoma City.
Yeah. So I asked Bob Sullivan last night, Kevin Durant's injury, does that keep them from winning 50 games? He's going to be out 6 to 8 weeks.
Because, so I mean, let's say he comes back. It'll be Christmas, maybe the Christmas game. I don't even know if they're playing on Christmas. I would assume they are. Usually teams like them do play on Christmas. Let me look up their schedule real quick. I don't think it's going to keep them from winning 50 games. It could actually help them in the long run by resting him. I mean, they have enough talent on their team that I don't foresee them having... I don't want to say they'll have an easy time in the first couple months, but with the talent on their team, they should at least be able to win, half of their games, if not more. I mean, they're starting against Denver, then Brooklyn, Toronto, Memphis, Sacramento, Milwaukee, Boston, Detroit. Until they play Houston on November 16th, those games are not going to be difficult. They should win at least 75% of their games. And after Houston, they still have an easy run going through the rest of the month of November. So to me, I don't think it's going to be that big a deal. Oh, they do. On Christmas Day, they play at San Antonio. So I would see that being the game that he would be back.
It'll be really curious because if you remember a couple years ago in the playoffs, Russell Westbrook got injured and the Thunder immediately fell apart. So it'll be really interesting if the Thunder don't miss a beat without Durant. But with Westbrook.
Yeah, but you're also talking postseason play compared to beginning of the season.
Absolutely. Valid point, but it'll be interesting to watch. It just will.
Yeah. I still think they'll be all right. I would say that like I said, it might keep them from winning enough games to get home court advantage. but I still think this could strengthen them even more. Because once again, you have one of the best players in the league, and he's going to have